to your goals in the future. That kind of self-control doesn't come from pressure, it comes from purpose. You can only be disciplined when you care deeply about where you're going, and the more you focus on yourself, the clearer that destination becomes. And then there's self-love. Real self-love is not about being perfect, it's about being honest. It's recognizing your flaws without letting them define you. It's forgiving yourself for who you were while still holding yourself accountable for who you're becoming. You stop tearing yourself down in your own mind and start speaking to yourself with the same kindness you give to others. You start choosing peace over chaos, growth over comfort, and truth over denial. Self-love isn't always soft. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it means walking away from people you care about because you care more about your own well-being. Sometimes it means standing alone so you can stand fully in your power. All of this, self-worth, self-discipline, self-love, grows when you take time to truly know yourself. And you can't know yourself if you're constantly distracted by noise, comparing your life to others, or living by someone else's script. You have to slow down, sit with your thoughts, examine your patterns, and ask yourself the hard questions. What do I really want? What's holding me back? Who am I trying to impress and why? That level of self-inquiry isn't always pretty, but it's real, and real always wins in the long run. You start to realize that you don't need permission to grow, to heal, or to shine. You don't need anyone else to approve of your process. The love you've been given to everyone else, the grace, the patience, the energy, you deserve to give that to yourself too. And when you do, something shifts. You become more grounded, more confident, more aligned. You stop chasing peace and start living it. That's the power of self-focus. It creates a foundation that no one can shake because it's built from within. When you know who you are, you stop chasing what you don't need. You stop running after things that don't fit you, people who don't value you, and goals that don't fulfill you. One of the biggest reasons people stay stuck is because they haven't taken the time to get rooted in their true identity. They chase relationships because they're lonely. They chase status because they feel unseen. They chase money because they think it'll give them meaning. But none of that ever satisfies because it's not coming from alignment, it's coming from lack. Knowing who you are changes the entire game. It silences the noise of outside opinions. It shuts down the pressure to prove yourself. You stop trying to wear masks to be liked. You stop adjusting yourself to fit into rooms that weren't built for you. You begin to move with clarity because you've taken the time to understand your own voice, your own values, and your own vision. That's when you start to operate from a place of power instead of insecurity. That's when decisions become easier because you're no longer asking what will people think. You're asking, does this align with who I am? It's easy to get caught up in the illusion that success looks the same for everyone. That you're supposed to have a certain lifestyle, drive a certain car, have a certain type of relationship by a certain age, but all of that is noise. When you know who you are, you stop following timelines that weren't made for you. You stop chasing things because they look good on other people, and you start creating a life that feels right for you. You realize that peace is more valuable than praise, that purpose is better than popularity, and that freedom is more rewarding than fitting in. Clarity brings confidence, and confidence keeps you from settling. When you're unsure of yourself, you'll accept almost anything. Attention disguised as love, opportunities that waste your time, people who drain your energy. But when you truly know your worth, you walk away from what doesn't serve you without guilt or hesitation. You stop begging for spaces at tables where your voice was never going to be heard anyway, and you start building your own table. That's not arrogance, it's awareness. It's the result of doing the work to understand your own power. There's something peaceful about not needing to chase. When you're rooted in who you are, you attract instead of pursue. The right people find you, the right opportunities align with you, the right timing reveals itself. You're no longer in a constant state of urgency because you trust your process. You stop measuring your life by what others have and you start measuring it by how true you're being to yourself. And that internal honesty becomes the compass that guides everything else. You also stop over-explaining. You stop needing everyone to understand your decisions because you understand them. You stop shrinking your dreams to make other people comfortable. You stop compromising your peace for temporary applause. And more than anything, you stop letting fear run the show. Because when you know who you are, fear has no hold on you. It might whisper, but it doesn't get the final say. Finding out who you are doesn't come overnight. It comes from silence, from solitude, from reflection. It comes from failing, from healing, from questioning everything you were told to believe about yourself. But once you arrive at that place, once you really see yourself, not through the lens of the past, not through the opinions of others, but through truth, you become untouchable, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And when you're real, you stop chasing what's fake. You start choosing what feeds your soul. And you begin to build a life that actually belongs to you.